Zachary Capono Wilson is looking to go from Draper, Utah to New York City if indeed Gangrene selects him with the number 2 overall pick. Chris, you played here. You won a Super Bowl in this market. There's been some discussion. Rich Cimini, our fine Jets reporter who covers the team 24/7 for ESPN, talked about whether handling the pressure is going to be an issue. Utah, laid back, not a lot of people, right? No pro teams in the NFL. Obviously, you have one pro team, the Jazz, in the entire state. New York's a different animal. Is it legit to question, because of the background, that it might be a little bit of an adjustment for him? And is this New York hype thing a real thing? Eli was laconic, and it didn't seem to bother him that much.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know if it's legit to question it because of his background, but I think it does become more of a question when you talk about the organization that he's poised to go to. The New York Jets don't have a great track record of developing quarterbacks. I mean, the last Pro Bowl quarterback that they ended up drafting, you got to go back to Ken O'Brien. Wow. And that was in the 80s. So, I mean, that's a long time ago. So, I mean, this organization hasn't been good at being able to develop young signal callers. But the one thing that I would say that Zach Wilson does have in his favor is that it seems like everybody within the Jets organization is in alignment when it comes to him being the future franchise guy. Like with Sam Darnold, I mean, he wasn't really Adam Gase' guy. Adam Gase kind of had to take the job because there was no other team that was going to make him a head coach in that hiring cycle. I mean, they moved on from Mike McCagnon, so Sam Darnold wasn't really Joe Douglas's guy. It feels like there's an opportunity for Zach Wilson to have things go his way and to have an opportunity to develop, because the infrastructure, everybody that's a part of making the decision on what they're doing with the second overall pick is on board with him being the second overall pick.
You know, having come to New York as the number 1 overall pick and to a franchise that won 2 games prior to the year, I was drafted, the pressure is felt by players, no matter where you were drafted at, and no matter what sport you play in. Whether it's baseball, basketball, hockey, soccer, whatever it is, New York has a different sort of mentality on a lot of different levels. It can eat you alive if you're not equipped to handle it, because there's so much pressure from outsiders within the media to get a story, to build a story, to do all sorts of things. And in this day and age, there is just no back page. There's no back page of the New York Post only, and the Newsday and the Times and all. There's all these different sources of media outlets, whether it's on your phone, whether it's you picking up the computer, whether it's just simply seeing something as you walk down the streets, big billboard or something. It's everywhere. That's not it in Utah. It's a little bit different. It's quiet. The most you're going to hear is there's a snowstorm coming, and we're going to have great snow to go ski. That's pretty much it. It's subdued. The moment you get off to a bad start in New York, the expectations are so high that when you go 2-4, the flip side of that is if you go 6-0. Now, can you handle what comes with going 6-0? What comes with going 9-1? What comes with going to the playoffs? I mean, I watched a former USC Trojan in Mark Sanchez come to New York, go to 2 straight AFC championship games, and in the end, he wasn't good enough. Because as I told Mark, and I tell Mark to this day, I told him back then, just because you start having success, don't start embracing what comes with it, because you will get lost in all of it, the expectations. Now I'm on the front of GQ magazine, and I'm dating a celebrity, and I'm out here. You don't need to do all that. You mentioned Eli Manning. Eli Manning, just nice and easy. I'm just going to hide over here and be quiet and win a few games. I'm not going to say anything and just keep it a couple goofy commercials here and there, and that's pretty much it. And that's how you handle it until you're ready for it. When you start diving into that stuff, you can get swallowed up. I've watched many athletes, many come through New York as the top dogs on the board. and New York swallowed them up because they had success, and New York kicked them out because they didn't have success, and they didn't know how to handle either.
Well,
and
that's
the question that I have, Chris, with Zach Wilson. Can he handle either side? Because he's going to get both. He's going to get both.
Oh, 100%. And New York is a place of extremes. I mean, Key, you talked about athletes, but that's just people in general. New York City is undefeated. Like, it's going to be hard to be consistent whether you're good or whether you're bad. And so it's just one of those things as a player, you have to understand you can never get too high. You can never get too low. You have to be focused on the process and trying to constantly improve your craft. You don't want to become a celebrity quarterback because we've seen how that ends up working out. But with Zach Wilson in particular, I just feel like what he's walking into, the situation that he's coming into, it's a relatively low bar to clear. I mean, Sam Darnold didn't have a great tenure as the Jets starting quarterback, and the team was really bad last year. They were in the running to have the number 1 overall pick going into the final month of the season. So, I mean, you're talking about a team that was 2-14 last year, and you're talking about a quarterback over his 3 years as the Jets guy that had more turnovers than he did touchdown passes. So that's what Zach Wilson is walking into, and people are always infatuated with what's new and what's different. And so I feel like there are going to be, relative to the 2nd overall pick, lower expectations for Zach Wilson just because of what preceded him. And so I feel like there'll be an opportunity for him to come along and develop properly or, at his pace, so to speak, rather than this being this, pressure cooker type of situation where he's got to deliver in year 1.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.